I just threw another bolt in there. It looks like it's holding it pretty solid now. I actually didn't do too bad a job of welding this up from the inside or from the outside. I think I'll clean this weld and finish up any little holes that I might have left. I still have to make some spacers for that alternator. Get a belt, finish my fuel lines. I don't like the way they are. You're way too close to the header. I'll probably pull it out and run it below those things. Still got quite a bit of wiring and stuff to do here. And of course our radiator, I still got to get to it, but I can't really do much till the fans come. But I can make up these braces and clean up all the stuff I know I need to do. Now here's Mr. Brace in, good and tight. And hood not moving at all. So I think that's going to be good enough. I was thinking I might have to brace it some more on the bottom, but the other one's really not tight. This one is. But I think that's plenty strong enough. I think I'll put another flat bracket on the bottom of where that hood hinge goes in there to strengthen that radiator shell. But that's awfully solid. Now I'll run some of my wires up this brace here. I don't know if I ought to do that or and it'd be kind of ugly. You might as well run them on the bottom and hide them. But anyway, the bracket's done. I looked everywhere trying to find something to make a drop out of. Couldn't really find anything. This is the one that the guy sent me with the wheel. It was flat straight. I had it down in the bottom, but I wanted to mount it down at the bottom of the dash because that's really strong down in there. But it looks like this one will go in there, and I'll just have to bore 4 holes in the dash there, and it'll be pretty strong, and it's holding it up high enough. And it's I cut the shaft off and it's sticking out down here good enough. Yeah, it's going to take quite a bit of angle there. It's too bad it's almost a straight shot. If I was to crush them headers pretty good. I think I'll be alright. Cut that shaft off about halfway. Bring it out a little. I can always fabricate something for the bottom to hold it. And this don't look too bad. It's not as strong as I would have liked to have made it. But in the interest of saving time, this is going to be about the quickest way of doing it. And I can still, move this around quite a bit still. I've got it kind of jammed in there right now, holding it with those vice grips. It's got pressure on it. But I think this be my best bet. I need to move it over about an inch. So the wheel's going to look out, be nice. It's got this big open spot in it, so if I do have gauges in there, I kind of hate to cut this dash up, but maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just mount the gas, the gauges. It does need a speedometer though. That one over there, I don't know if it works or not. I doubt it. Put a little shade on this camera, it makes it better. But anyway, I think this will be good enough for where my steering wheel goes. And it looks pretty good from this angle. Might be a little low, but it shouldn't be too bad. So I think that's about all I'm going to do today. I didn't feel good, so I'll go home, sit in the cool, and get out of this heat. I started working here on the brake lines. I've got a little, I thought it was pure brass, but it's, pure copper, if it's not. It's copper coated aluminum, I think. But I bent it around and I managed to get it down there into the front plumbing. Put double flares on that end down there. This end up here I only used a single flare. There's the back one. So I think it's got to go all the way back here to this area. Let's see what we got here. Yep. So that's probably a double flare. I'll clean that up and blow it out, and we'll try to run a brake line here. I've got plenty, and I don't know if I'll start it from this end and run it. I think I'll straighten that tube out, get it in roughly. But I think a single flare again will hold this. I've got a bunch of adapters here. I think this is one that fits. Yeah, it feels like it's going in good. I've got quite a bit of rust in there. I'll clean that out a little bit. Mostly what I'm trying to do is just run the lines. I'm not really worried about it leaking or anything at this point. So I'll just put a flare on this pipe, put that nut on, and then I'll start bending this stuff around to where it goes. I'll show you how to do the flares. First thing we're going to do is put the anvil on it. We put it in our holder here, and we get an anvil that fits as close as we can. I've got a 4.5 in there. These are marked this is a 1/4 inch. It's too big. And then we're going to put this squisher in here, and get it set up. So I've got maybe 1/8 of an inch here. And what's going to happen when I turn this is going to squash that down. I'm going to try to get them straight. Looks like I got that one a little crooked. Kind of trying to hold it, do it with one hand until the anvil's flush against the holder. Then you take this off, and we take the anvil out. As you can see, it started to sort of form a little inside curve, and then we put our acorn thing back on it again, and then we put our anvil in there on it like that. I'll use both hands. I'll tighten it up, and it'll make the flare. We tighten it up completely. You can see that it squashed the thing flare against the base, and I'll pull it out and we'll see what kind of flare we got. Well, there we go. Pretty nice flare. And I meant to tell you, be sure and put your nut on it first. I've got a kind of a sharp bend in there, but I'll straighten that out, and this looks like it's nice and smooth and pretty straight, and it should go in that brake cylinder and hold real well. Well, I just put that in there and snugged it up a little. Started bending my line. This stuff bends real easy. I've got a tubing bender which works good for real hard stuff, but this copper stuff is real soft. It's pretty easy to bend by your hand, and as long as you're careful, you can get pretty nice bends. I'm not trying to be perfect here. I'm just basically running the line where I want it to go, and so I'll bend this down, pull it through the frame, and bend it back to the back over there, and put another flare in it, and then eventually I'll clean this area up here. Like I say, it's a rat rod. I'm not trying to make it look like a high dollar street rod with perfect bends. Only thing I care about really is that it looks pretty good and the brakes work. So I'll probably just put some brake fluid in it and fabricate the well, I need to weld that brake pedal up good, so I got to take this out to get the brake pedal out. That didn't make any difference. First thing I got to do is run this line. So that's what I'll do. I'll go ahead and run that line, and then I'll take this master cylinder off of here and finish welding up my brake and grind it all and get whatever I need to for a push rod and set it all up, and I should be able to get good brakes on this today. If I do, that'll be a pretty decent lick. Just to run the brake lines and hook them up. Well, that's alright. I routed the line up through the frame. I got a few inches loose. Got it bent into this good. Tightened up. And got nice flares on it. And it still looks pretty good over here. I just rotated it around that. I can still kind of pull this stuff around a little and bend it, but basically that's the brake lines are hooked up. You know, I think I might just put some fluid in it and see if I got any leaks. Here's my brake push rod. I welded a socket onto a nut, and I just used a little piece of rod in there. It's the right length. Might be just a little short, but I can screw this out about 3/4 of an inch. And I kind of rounded it off a little here on the end. So I think that's good enough for a brake rod. It's plenty strong. It's got a push on it, not a bend or pull or anything. So I'll stick it in and see what results I get. Well, there it is in all its glory. I've adjusted it where I got like 1/8 of an inch before it hits, and it's moving the cylinder good. I ain't gonna put a lot of pressure on it because I've only got it welded there in that corner, but looks like it's a real nice straight shot. Good enough for a rat rod. Let's see what I can do about getting some fluid in these brakes. Well, looks like it's pumping air, or air is coming out of it. I loosened both of those bottom lines. See if I can do this with my hand. Yeah, I can see in the camera that both of them are bubbling. You see it starting to drip out of my brake fitting there, so I'll tighten them up. Well, I got both of them squirting good out of here. Tighten that up, and we'll try to blow some air out of this front one here first, because I can see it. Well, both cylinders are pumping well. The air's coming up out of them, and I've got 3 or 4 inches travel here. I'm still 3 inches off the floor, and I think I bottomed that master cylinder out. I'm going to try to put a little pressure on it here to bend it. Okay. Alright, I'm about 2 inches off the floor. Maybe an inch. So I think that's pretty good travel for. Feels like it's building pressure. So I'm a little too close to my steering wheel, I think. And my steering column. I'm going to try to just hand bend that over a little. Get it to clear better. Well, none of my linkage gave. I don't know if you can see, but all it did was bend that little arm I put up in there. So I need to put something a little more robust in there. I might just be able to cut that off of there, keep that socket and stuff, and just get a bigger piece of rod. I've got some rod here that I wanted to use, but it's only about 3 or 4 inches long. Anyway, so that didn't work. I'll change that. I did bend it away from the steering column some. We're actually getting a break there. Yeah, I'll have to fool with that a little more and change the stop on this brake pedal. But it's bottoming that master cylinder out. It is building pressure. I guess I go to the back and see if it's putting fluid out. That's 7/16. I got one here somewhere. I don't know if it'd have fluid back here yet. I'll pump it a couple times. I don't know if I got enough fluid in there to. Whoop, it came out. So we got fluid to here. I got a feeling I can bleed these brakes and it'll all be good. That front cylinder don't hold very much, so I might have it pretty close to getting air in it. I pumped on it a little more, and it seems like what's happening is the back of this bracket is hitting the top or the bottom of that Heim joint there, and that's what bent it up like that. So I'm gonna have to, and it's hitting right at the edge of that socket, so I need to use something smaller there and or cut a groove in it. My brake pedal's still bending around a little. Basically, I gotta get that out of there and change it. While getting it out, I messed up my tack, so I put it in about where I thought it was, and it looks like it's obviously way too crooked. I welded it pretty good. I should be able to bend it. I'm going to use both hands here and try that. Well, I bent it over pretty good. And it's pressing down pretty straight, and I'm missing all of my floorboard holes. It's awfully high still. I'd like for it to be a little lower. I don't know if I can. Looks like I can still bend that weld a little. Need to turn it down. I put it in there where it would clear my clevis that goes through this hole here. I'm going to try to put a screwdriver right in here and see if I can't bend this thing down. Guess I could put a bar in there and step on it, but I've only got an inch and a half travel on that master cylinder, and it's way high right now. It should be about right there somewhere, and I need to, I'll see if I can get something in there and pry that thing apart. Well, that's pretty good. It's missing my steering column good. Might be able to bend this over a little bit, but again, I don't know where that's going to be, but I've got it away from the steering column. I've got enough room right in here for my foot to go. I've still got a lot of travel to the floor. Probably about that much is where it's going to hit. Hopefully I get my Heim joint up in there. I think I'm going to straighten it out and just put it in. It should be the same distance. Well, that looks pretty good. I'm not hitting my pedal with a Heim joint. I'm actually building up brake. I can see the bracket flexing up there, but I think the pedal's pretty much in the right spot. It's going to change a little when I finish bolting that down, but actually pretty good here. I could try to weld it some more while it's up in the car, but I don't know how much I've got up in there to do that. So anyway, I'm going to pull this out and weld that bracket up straight and finish that top brace, and hopefully this will be done for the brakes. Well, here's Mr. Master Cylinder all bolted back in. I'm anxious to see what my brake looks like. And it looks like I've got it just perfect over here. Got plenty of room for the steering shaft to go straight through. My brake is not going to hit my pedal. Maybe a little high, but I can fix that by putting a stop on it. I don't know what my old rod here is going to do. I'll stick it in and see. Well, there's pushing it in. I'm hitting pedal pressure right there. That's about 3-4 inches. It's still got air in it, and it's loose up there. But it's pushing straight in on it. It's not hitting it and kinking it or anything. I'll put a bolt on it and tighten it up and take a look. And the bolt's in. And that pedal's kind of high. It's actually pumping the brakes up real good. It's about an inch off of the floor. It's got brakes right now. Yeah, they're pumping up and holding. Means I ain't got no leaks. Probably still got air in it. Yeah, it went down quite a bit. 3 pumps brings it up. It's awfully high. Pedal's awfully high. It needs to be about right there to start. But the only stop it's got in it is the emergency brake switch. But it shouldn't have more than about an inch travel. It's just too high right now. It's at the top of my boot. And I'll try to screw in my little adjuster and put a makeshift stop in it for now and see what happens. Let's put a clamp on that to get it about where I need it. It's still a little high, but that's not bad for a brake, and I still probably got about 3 inches to push it. So I'm going to just weld a little tab up in here to stop it right there, and I'll make it a fairly thin piece of steel, so if I have to I can bend it up or down and adjust it a little. And we'll see what that looks like. Well, I had a little piece of galvanized plate. I just ground all the galvanized off, put it across there. It's kind of hard to push right now because of the spring, but it's got several inches there. It's close enough. I can hit it with the middle of my foot. And it's right now going all the way to the floor. But if I pump it up, I probably got a good inch off of the floor, and the brakes are solid. The first pump goes all the way to the floor. 2 pumps and it'll come up about an inch. So that's good enough, I think. I have to bleed the brakes, but I really I got maybe let me see here. I can take a little out of that. Yeah, I got plenty of adjustment there for that. That's pretty solid. The whole thing's moving around, but I got to get up in here, right in this area. Got to do something about mounting this. Looks kind of crooked, and I did have it fixed for a bolt. I don't know which bolt goes where. Can't really see up in there. Looks like this one might be. I can't really tell. It's dark up in there. But what I can do is throw a clamp up in there, see how strong it is. And a little bracket, I clamped it here. That was the one that held the steering. You can tell there that it's not real strong. It's moving but it's I'll have to make another bracket for that, but I can feel it. I'm putting a lot of pressure on here. That'll be enough to slide these wheels, and it's flexing just a little, but not bad. Yeah, it's got good solid brakes, so I'll probably have to cut this bracket I made up in here off. I don't know if this is showing you anything, but I probably have to cut that off there and make another one and tack it in. I might have to pull this master cylinder out of here one more time. Yeah, there, it's kind of showing it, but it's not real strong, and I may have to make something else, you know, another rod brace or something. But I did have it in there and a bolt in it, but it was just that was when I had wound up with a brake in the middle of the steering, and I don't have that now. I've got a straight shot down through there, and even without that clamp, it's pretty strong. I can see the firewall's bending. But I think one more bracket up into there will be good enough for that. I still have to put in this steering drop and all that stuff. But anyway, it's got brakes, 2 pumps. Most likely, I imagine the air is in the back, because it's I don't really have it see, this is higher here than it is down here, so most likely my air is trapped right in this area. And probably this front one is not all going downhill either. I tried to get the lines good. Don't have any leaks, so looks like my it looks like that one there might be leaking just a little. I don't know if I even tightened that up. I think that was a 1/2 inch, 7/16. We'll see if a 7/16 will fit it. 3/8. $10mm, that's probably gonna be it. Yeah, I don't even have that one tight. It probably was leaking a little. It's tight now, so I'll clean it up and wipe it off, and try pumping it again. But I'm not losing any fluid up here. So basically it's pretty much a done deal as far as plumbing the brakes, and that pedal's good and solid. Yeah, I think this is good enough. I'm clearing everything. I have one more brace on the firewall, and route my lines and bleed it, and I'll call it good on that.